Don't be fooled. It was an Amazon bestseller for a week, but as long as you're an Amazon bestseller for a day, you could still say it was an Amazon bestseller. It is a very good book, though. Let me go back here. All right. What's up, Michigan? What's up, Andrews? Let's say what's up. Come on. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So good to be here. I always start my talks. You look so relaxed down there. I always start my talks by lowering the temperature some, right? Because, you get introduced as this like professional guy, you got your PhD, you spoke for the CDC, all that's really cool. But ultimately, I'm a guy that believes in God, and what God put me on this earth to do was to share the good news of nutrition. There's a lot of good news when it comes to nutrition. And then two, to share advice to students, because I'm good at two things: nutrition and being in school for a really freaking long time, which was 10 years. Is this ricocheting too much, or does it sound good? All right, sounds good. All right, so for today, the talk is connecting gut, food, and brain. But before we jump into that, I want to share kind of a funny little story. When I used to teach Intro to Nutrition, anybody have to take Intro Nutrition in here? Nursing and all that, pre-healthcare people. I always had a mantra, and that mantra was, nutrition matters because people matter. And we're going to learn about that. And I love nutrition so much because it's, how can I use nutrition to help students? How can I use nutrition for patients who have cancer? How can I use nutrition for people that have diabetes? So there's such a beauty in nutrition for me. But here's the opposite story. Anybody getting ready for finals here? Getting closer and closer? You're dreading it, right? Spring break is such a tease. You just come back to even more work the next week you get back, right? Well, I'm going to tell you the story of when it was my freshman year, my second semester of my freshman year. I had 3 final exams in one day. You want to take a guess what my breakfast was that day? Take a guess. Someone said eggs in a burrito. You could tell I'm from Texas, right? It was a giant bag of sour Skittles. I had slept for 3 hours that night because I had a chemistry exam, which I got a 42 on and passed see, if I could get a 42 on my Gen Chem final and still barely pass the class and then go on to get my PhD, you could do it too. All right. So yeah, but again, I didn't fail my exams because of the bag of Skittles, but the bag of Skittles definitely did not help. All right, so today we're going to talk about connecting your food to mental health and also some college advice I have for you guys. All right, so these are the different things we'll talk about: protein in the brain, amino acids in the brain, the gut-brain connection, or how your gut is your second brain. And I want to leave you guys with actual specific tips, like, hey, you sound smart, you sound cool, or maybe not. But this is what I'm going to go buy at Walmart. Or what do you guys, y'all don't have Walmart here. Y'all have like Applebee's, or what is it? Happy Apple? What's that store? Apple Alley? Apple Valley? Yeah, see. You guys are healthy Adventist people here. Good for you guys. I'm Catholic. Not as healthy. I'm just joking. Yeah, I have jokes too. I have to be careful though because I'm being recorded. It's apparently going on YouTube. Andrews might get mad at me. All right. This is the coolest thing ever, what I'm showing you right here. You don't have to read all of this. But when I tell you, you've all heard the phrase, you are what you eat, right? Raise your hand if you've heard the phrase that you are what you eat. I'm about to show you something that's, you're what you eat way more than what you could even imagine, okay? So if I gave you a cup of milk, be it cow's milk or be it almond milk, whatever, and there's protein in it, and you drink that glass of milk, how long until that milk is in your muscles? You ever thought of that? How long? Take a guess. Raise your hand. Nobody's raising their hand. 3 what? 3 days. Okay, that's one guess. You're right there. 2 hours. It's actually 2 hours, so that's great. So researchers did a really interesting thing where they put little chemical tracers into milk, so great guess, and they spent millions of dollars, with this cow, putting the $1 million tracer in it, having a bunch of people drink the milk, and yeah, within 2 to 3 hours, the amino acids, the protein in that milk was in the muscle of the person who drank it. So that's amazing, right? But here's something even cooler. Put your arm out. Actually, put it out. Like you're going to do a bicep curl. Everybody do it. Especially you guys who are on your laptops not paying attention. I know you're here for your credit. I was a professor before. Oh, yeah. And I used to be a professor here, virtually at least. So I know what you guys are like. You guys are awesome, but. All right. Bicep out. Now, if we were to put your arm in a cast, what happens to it after 3 months? It atrophies. Man, you guys are smart. You use atrophied instead of shrink. Good job. Now, remember how I just taught you that within 2 to 3 hours, the amino acids from that milk is in your muscle, right? So the old stuff is being removed from your, keep your arm out. The old stuff is being removed. That's how I wake you guys up. The old stuff is being removed from your arm, and the new stuff is going into your arm. How long does it take, if we were to freeze your arm right now, how long does it take for you to have a total new set of amino acids in your arm? You had a good guess earlier. How long would it take to have a brand new arm? Okay, well, she probably doesn't know this anyways. That's a very unique thing. Not that she's not a good dietitian, it's just it's very unique. Somebody else, who wants to take a guess? How long until you have a new arm? Take a guess. 2 to 3 months. Oh my God. Yes, it's exactly 2 to 3 months. But isn't that amazing? In 2 to 3 months, you can put your arm down for those of you guys that still have it up. In 2 to 3 months, you have a brand new bicep, brand new arm. All of the protein has been totally broken down incrementally, right? It's not like it's disappeared in 3 months. It's just incrementally changed. Here's the coolest thing ever. What about your brain? How long does it take for all the protein amino acids in your brain to be completely renewed? 4 to 5 weeks? You guys have like the cheat sheet or something? Oh, shoot, my gosh. I messed this all up. All right, you didn't see that. All right, no wonder. I was like, how do you guys know this? I should just walk off the stage now. What is it? That's true. No wonder y'all missed the 2 to 3, the other one. Anyways, now I'm stumbling over my words. So yeah, this is awesome. But here's what's not on the stage. So in 4 to 5 weeks, you have a totally new brain. Isn't that freaking awesome? You guys should be amazed by that. I'm amazed by that as a dietitian. Anybody a Christian in here? Probably all you guys. That's a joke. I'm Christian too. Proudly Christian till the day. What is it? Well, Catholic is Christian. Don't you worry. You have jokes too. Man, this is the best talk ever. We've even having going back and forth. Don't worry. Don't make me get the Adventist jokes out. I'm just messing. I love my Adventists. I used to work at an Adventist hospital. Anyways. Where was I? Y'all threw me off. Oh, okay, here's the thing. They did a study where when they were removing parts of the brain, they found that in 4 to 5 weeks, that's the speed of the turnover of the brain. Ask yourself this question. Here, quiet for a second. Ask yourself this question. How is it possible that your brain is totally new after 6 weeks, but you are still the same? You see what I'm saying? Like you still remember your chemistry study, and you still love or don't love your boyfriend or girlfriend. You still have your personality traits. You could still play the same sport, even though your brain is totally new. Isn't that amazing? And that's where when the researchers did that study, they're publishing it in a scientific journal, but they kind of jokingly said what the name of this paper should be, how there's evidence for the soul because of how quickly our body turns over, yet we retain all of our personality traits. We retain all of our emotions. We retain all of that stuff. So again, the reason I share this is you are what you eat. Nutrition matters. But thirdly, if I could do it on this mic, you have a very strong argument if you're talking to someone who's agnostic or atheist, and that's not the point. Like that's a respectful conversation you can have, but the coolest fact of nutrition I've ever learned is how your brain turns over in 6 weeks, and it's still you. That's amazing. So raise your hand if that's amazing. At least raise your hand to make me feel better about myself. Okay, a little bit more. We'll get to some practical stuff in a minute. If you can see here on your left, you can see that, when I talk protein, I'm talking beans, rice, legumes, different animal products if you eat some animal products. But all of these things break down into, you see at the very bottom of this chain, the melatonin, the serotonin, so the emotion regulating hormone, melatonin, the sleep regulation hormone, epinephrine and norepinephrine, the anxiety or love you hormone, whatever, depending on the situation. But all of these come from protein, which turns to amino acids, which turn into the hormones that literally control how you feel. So that's fascinating stuff. Again, you are what you eat. And I could say it a million different times. You are what you eat because the food becomes you in hours, because your body turns over so quickly, because it becomes your hormones. And the whole reason I'm sharing this isn't just to sound smart. The reason I'm sharing this is because how can you harness the power of nutrition to make you feel better, to get better exam scores, to focus on your overall wellness, right? To fuel your running, to fuel your fitness so that you can feel better and recover faster. Another aspect here that we've discovered, or that people much smarter than I am have discovered, is the gut-brain connection. If you're eating a bunch of highly processed foods, which processed foods aren't the worst thing in the world, but if you're just eating a bunch of junk food, let's say, and not getting enough protein and not getting enough vegetables and not getting all that stuff, tends to correlate with not as good anxiety scores. So there's this concept to where your gut is the second brain, where you have your central nervous system and you have this thing called your enteric nervous system, enterocytes representing the names of the cells in the gut. But what you can see here highlighted on this study is that ultimately, this is what I want you to remember. There's a connection between your brain and your gut and your brain. What you eat and how you eat over periods of time will potentially influence your mental health, and your mental health can influence your gut health. Anybody ever gone through a breakup, through a traumatic event, through whatever, and you drop like 20 pounds? There you go. Now you remember. You guys are laughing. You weren't laughing back then. Yeah. Hey, I'm not making fun of you. I've been there too. So, and then vice versa, right? So your brain, in that case, influenced your gut, but also your gut and what you eat can influence your brain. Fascinating stuff. And I'll give you specifics here in a second. So why does this all matter? What can we do with this information, right? This is all cool information, but all that matters is what you can buy at Apple Valley down the street. Apple Valley? Good. Biggest thing is fiber. A well-balanced diet, all that stuff. You have dietitians on campus. They can help you with that. But the biggest thing is fiber, because fiber fuels your gut. Without getting too sciencey, the fiber in your food fuels your gut, keeps your gut healthy, and potentially helps with that connection, with the gut-brain connection that they've been exploring. What food specifically you can see up here. I'll get out of the way. Actually, it's 20 feet above me. But look at this here. Beans are very important. Rice is important, especially if you cool it and reheat it. It's a really interesting process, but slightly green bananas, lentils, different cereals, oats, potatoes. But ultimately, you guys eat a bunch of plants. You guys eat a bunch of vegetables, I hope. And that's one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Getting enough protein, but also getting plenty of fiber. Anybody a nutrition student in here? No? Anybody want to be yeah, there you go. Yeah, nutrition for life. Anybody want to be a nutrition student after listening to me talk? We have a great department here, the Population Health, Nutrition, and Wellness Department. You could become a dietitian like me. So do you know how many grams of fiber women and men should have? Sorry to put you on the spot. If not, it's okay. I'll help you out. Oh, nice. 28 for females, 35 for males. So write that number down. Here's my homework assignment to you guys. Females, 28 grams of fiber per day. Just write it down. Write down all the food you eat in a day. And then for men, it's 35 grams. And if you eat the typical college diet where you have, I don't know, what do you guys have? Eggo waffles for breakfast or waffles for breakfast. You have Takis and Trolleys as a snack throughout the day. 0 fiber, 0 fiber, 0 fiber, maybe 1 gram of fiber, right? And then at the end of the day, maybe you have some vegetables and stuff. You're going to be at like 5 or 10 grams. So you're only a third or a fourth of the way there. So eat some dang fiber is what I'm saying. I'm from Texas, remember? Okay. A few other interesting facts before we get to, I'm going to share some of my book with you guys. This is a really interesting fact here. Anybody heard of omega-3s? Your parents take them, or maybe you take them? Omega-3s are awesome, and there's a lot of research on them. You can get them from fatty fish, you can get it from supplements, a few different other foods, from healthy fats. But they've done studies on athletes who have had concussions, and they'll give them omega-3s, and they'll put tracers on the omega-3s, and they'll literally see those molecules integrate into the brain. So again, like, it's just so cool, nutrition. Like, you literally are what you eat, and that can help in the recovery process and all of that. So look into supplements on that. And again, I'm not promoting any individual supplement. I'm not making any money off of these things. I'm just telling you what's going to help you out. So yeah, just a general healthy diet. The biggest thing is know your fiber, know the different fibrous foods that we just talked about. The Adventist-style diet, the Mediterranean-style diet, all of those are correlated with better outcomes. So how do your professors eat? Try and mirror that. Or how do your peers that eat that type of diet try and practice some of that? So all of this is fairly nothing too advanced. Your water, your protein, a variety of eating the rainbow, not Skittles like I did my freshman year, but eating the rainbow of fruits and vegetables. But here you go. Some people always ask me, like, which supplements though? You don't need supplements. It's typically a food first approach. But when we're talking mental health and like overall how you feel, one of the biggest ones is probably vitamin D, and specifically D3. During my PhD, there was a time where I was just like, man, I'm so dang tired, dude. Why am I so tired all the time? Anybody tired in here? Yeah, everybody's tired because of the semesters. What are we? You still have over a month to go. You're almost there. When do y'all finish? Oh, less than a month. Yeah, let's have a round of applause for that. Less than a month of school. That's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, but what I realized, I went to the doctor and got my usual lab panel, and I asked them, take my vitamin D. I just had a hunch as a dietitian, and it was low, and that's why I was so lethargic for so long. So if you're lethargic, again, this isn't medical advice, but talk to your doctor. Vitamin D supplementation helps some people. When it comes to sleep, some people take magnesium. When it comes to anxiety, some people take ashwagandha. So look into all that stuff if nothing else, but ultimately talk to your doctor, right? Like, you're not going to solve mental health completely with nutrition. I always say that nutrition for mental health is overrated but also underrated. Your nutrition is important to have the building blocks that it takes to heal your brain, and some supplements and some food to have general wellness. But you can't just switch to a healthy diet and say, my panic attacks are gone. Not how it works. Cognitive behavior therapy, medical providers, medical team, all of that is important. Okay, so we're going to skip that question. All right, so with the last 15 minutes, I want to ask you guys a question. I do a lot of talks. So the first part was on the nutritional aspect of mental health for students. This next part, and again, I'm going to open the floor for questions in a second, but I was in school from August of 2012 to August of 2022. That's a long freaking time. Anybody born in like 2006 or something? Some of you guys, yeah. Well, from the time you were 6 years old to the time you were 16, I was in school that whole time. So I was in school a long time. So I love to give advice for students. So I have a question for you. What's your biggest fear? Maybe not as a first-gen student, but what's your biggest fear as a college student that might be causing some of that anxiety that we were talking about? Don't be shy. What are you scared of? That your degree does not make sense. See, thank you for being brave. Yeah, anybody else feel that at some point in their life? I know you guys aren't raising your hand, but yes, I felt that. I still feel that sometimes. All right, so that your degree might not actually help you in life. What else? Someone over here. Come on, wake up, guys. You're not scared of anything? What about for the people who aren't students anymore? What were you guys scared of? What is it? Oh my gosh, public speaking. My God, yes. I was here an hour early and I was starting to get nervous. Until you guys walked in, then I wasn't nervous anymore. So public speaking, all of that stuff. You in the nice tie, what were you scared of growing up? As a student. What's the future of my life going to be? So thank you for sharing. What about public speaking? What about, is my career even worth it? So because of that, everybody get your phones out. You guys are already looking at them anyways. Scan this QR code up here, if it reaches. This is a book that I wrote. And I'm not just telling you to go buy my book because it's a book that I wrote. Look into the book because it actually has answers to a lot of those questions that we were talking about. Look at the different chapters here. So the book is called Diary of a First-Generation College Student. Because to give you a quick story, my parents are from Mexico. They didn't have electricity until they were 12 years old. They were completely broke. They were impoverished. My parents came here from Mexico in search of not of a dream life, but of survival. Anybody have immigrant parents, or maybe you're an immigrant yourself? Yeah, there you guys go. So represent there. And so the challenge as a college student, not just first gens, is how can I carry the torch further? Anybody feel that pressure? Like, how can I carry the torch further? Everybody's nodding their head. And so I wrote on here, important before you start college. Some people don't need to go to college. What about chapter 1, welcome to college, how to handle the college transition as a first-gen pioneer? Because I've been there when I'm like, man, I don't have anybody to freaking call. My dad never took a math exam. My mom never took a chemistry class. And that's hard when you don't have that support. So thankfully, you guys use your university services there. Chapter 2, here's to your question. I can't remember where you were at. Google your future salary, how to choose a career you won't regret. If anything, buy the book to read that chapter. That's a great freaking chapter. The summary of it is, don't go to college to be poor. And you guys are at a good university that has a lot of support, so it sounds like you guys are doing the right thing. But I just remember when I was in my freshman year, we would all be up at the front, and our mentors asked us a question. And we said, well, as long as I do what I love, I don't mind if I'm poor the rest of my life. Well, I'm 31 years old now. I would not like to be poor the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? So that chapter comes full circle on how you have to change your mentality, how you can be a good person and a rich person. And hey, a lot of college students complain that there are so many greedy rich people. Anybody in here a good person, you think? Raise your hand. Don't be shy. Anybody in here a Christian? Anybody, care about people? Why don't you go be rich? So now there are less rich, greedy people. There you go. That's pretty good logic to me. All right. Y'all didn't know what y'all were walking into today. Oh yeah, so there are just so many. So I want to spend the last, let's say 5 minutes, and then I'll have like 5 minutes of questions. I'm going to read you the prologue, and I'll read you part of whatever chapter you want. So choose a chapter. Anybody have one that they're like, man, I really would like to learn about that? While you choose, I'm going to grab a book. Chapter 5. Stay happy, healthy, and mentally well. That's a good chapter. Here, you're the camera person. You get one of the books. Thank you so much. It's signed and stamped. It might be worth something one day. Not yet, though. I'm going to grab this stool here. Sorry, Brian. Told you I'd walk around some. Okay. All right, so everybody wake up. I'm just going to read a little bit from here. And while I read, go to Amazon and give it a review, because I've sold like 400 books but have 4 reviews. That's a disaster. All right. But yeah, I love to write, and my secret is that I play very sad music before I write, and it gets me very nostalgic, and that's how I write beautifully. And even ChatGPT told me the other day, when you write, I don't write using ChatGPT. I just put it in there and say, what do you think? You know what ChatGPT told me? It said, the reason your writing is good is because you make the reader feel your soul. It's true. You'll see. As a first-generation college student, I was the first to do many things. I was the first in my family to move away from home to attend university, the first to experience the culture shock of college and of a random roommate, the first to nearly fail 2 classes and not have anyone to call, and the first to face the fear of letting my family down in the face of such academic opportunity. Being the first was tough in so many ways, but oh so beautiful in others. I was the first to travel abroad, the first to experience the joy of coming home for the holidays and have everyone admire and encourage me, the first to overcome academic failure, and the first to cross the beautiful commencement stage not once, not twice, but 3 times. Hopefully you don't have to do it that many times. If you ask me what helped me survive 10 years of school, the simple answer would be an attitude of determination and gratitude. From the very beginning and through the highs and lows of my 10-year journey, I was always determined to make my family and my future self proud. I wanted to honor the sacrifice of everyone that came before me, my siblings, parents, grandparents, and beyond. I was determined to carry the torch as each generation is called to do. We're all first gens in something, so I saw it as an honor and a beautiful cross to bear. Being the first is a part of life, and I was always grateful to be the one to do it first. I was and forever will be a first-gen college student. What an honor it was and still is, thank God. See the soul? All right, so you wanted chapter 5. We'll go to chapter 5. Got 8 minutes here. What other chapters did you guys find interesting up there? Anything stand out to you? What's chapter 4? Effective studying. Yeah, that's a good one. What about, you know what my favorite chapter is chapter 7. Be your own best hype man / woman. Anybody ever thought that you were going to do really well one semester and then the semester crushed you? Or thought you were going to do really well one exam and then the exam, you're pointing your finger. You know, a lot of you guys nodding your head. So that's an important chapter because I went from a straight A student in high school, AP classes and all that, to passing chemistry my freshman year by 1 question after I got a 42 on the final. So how do you come back from that, right? And I tell the story in there, and it's a journey back. You have to rebuild your confidence, and it takes work. The hype man? Sure. All right. What chapter did I say that was? 7? Let's see. Chapter 7 is page 80. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll show you probably the best part. All right, so I haven't read this in a while, but let's read the end of it here. Okay, so relax and rebuild your confidence after setbacks. Very important. Listen to this, guys. In summary, I know what it feels like to feel like your entire future rides on one exam. Raise your freaking hand. You know. I know you guys. I've been there many times. More importantly, I know what it feels like to have failed that exam and to end up okay. I'm here 12 years later. That C in freshman Gen Chem was the last C or B of my life. Ironically, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. That C taught me how to study better and to choose my professors more wisely. Though hard, nearly failing built my grit and resilience and to believe in myself no matter what. It also taught me perspective. One exam or class in the grand scheme of your life is not the end of your world, though it always feels like it. Yeah. Y'all ever see that meme where it's like me crying in the shower on planet Earth, surrounded by like billions of light years of space that nobody else cares but me? Yeah, I know what it's like. If I could go back to my sleepless and struggling freshman self during those times, I'd read him this chapter. I'd simply tell him, "You're going to be all right, kid. These setbacks are more secret ingredients to your success. Keep working, keep showing up, and always speak kindly to yourself. In conclusion, your past does not define you. One class or failed exam does not define you. What people say / said about you or made you believe growing up does not define you. Your anxious and negative self-talk does not define you. You are more than your anxious thoughts. The beauty of college is that you define you. Be kind to yourself, encourage yourself, and seek help. Narrate a beautiful story of encouragement, humility, and self-care in your brain. Be your own best hype man or woman. Work at it. You can do it. You deserve it." And P.S., it's important to mention that it is normal to struggle with negative thoughts. The struggle between confidence and self-doubt is what makes us human. If you're struggling, know you're not alone. Become your own best hype man / woman. Take time and support. Be it your family, friends, or a professional, but don't be afraid to ask for help. Learn about therapy, counseling, resources from your university or through alternative sources. So that's the summary of that, or the conclusion of that chapter. But ultimately, what I share in that chapter is after almost flunking out of college, I didn't believe in myself anymore. But what changed, I was stuck in that loop of like, I stink, I'm terrible, I'm never going to pass the class again. But what ultimately saved me from that was I went to a graduation for my cousin, and it was God's timing. God's timing is always perfect. If you don't know that yet, and we'll all learn it over time. But I went to my cousin's graduation, and imagine, I almost just failed out of college. And I'm seeing all these people cross the stage. I'm like, that's never going to be me. I could barely pass freshman year. Yeah, you laugh, but that's a trauma laugh. Trust me, I know. And but thankfully, after that graduation, my aunt came up and introduced me to her friend, and she said, "This is Antonio. He's the smartest in our family." And that was God's timing, because God knew that I needed to hear that. God knew that I didn't believe in myself anymore. And so I'm happily to get emotional because I'm just thankful for that. Like, I'm thankful every day that even through the hard times, for me and for you, God's always there for you. So with that, I'm proud that I accomplished my goal of always getting emotional during every presentation because that shows that I care. But we have 5 minutes. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you got. Raise your hand. Come on, I know you guys aren't just here for your chapel points. Why did I choose to become a dietitian? That's a great question. I chose to become a dietitian because no matter what you choose to do in your career, it has to be a mix of your passion and using the passion to help people. So there are a million different examples of that. And for me, I just love nutrition and fitness so much, and I just was inspired. I love like counseling and talking to people so much that was just my vocation. And then beyond that, I didn't want to be a dietitian exclusively. I wanted to be a speaker, to be a researcher, to be able to do all this, be an author. And I got the PhD because when you see a PhD, it has kind of a pull factor. It's like, man, that person did something special. So everything's a vocation. If you play your cards right, that's how it should be. But it's also how can you use that vocation to do well for yourself and your family and your future family? Good question. Time for one or two more questions. Can be you guys on the side too. One more. You guys? All right, so we have 3 at once. Go ahead. I never imagined nutrition would take me, and what happened from that. Really, I never imagined how becoming a dietitian and getting my PhD would really just take me so far. Like, I spoke for the CDC twice, which was crazy. There was a call where there were like 300 people that work for the CDC. I get to speak in like auditoriums like this. I get to speak at universities. And yeah, I mean, if you just, I don't want to be cliche, but if you just really love what you do, and here's what I tell people. You've got to be special in your own field, and that's what takes you far. Because everybody, there are thousands of dietitians, there are thousands of doctors, thousands of all that. But when you have something super unique about you, that's when you really get the opportunities. And my PhD was in understanding like nutrition and health behavior, specifically in like macho Hispanic men that don't really care about their health. And that was my research, like how do I get those guys to care? And nobody studies those guys. So that's what's really cool. Time for one more question. Right here. Oh my gosh. The most valuable thing that my parents taught me. Little promo here. There you go. Most valuable thing. I thought of this the other day. The most valuable thing that my parents taught me, I'd say it's a combination. From my dad's side, what my dad taught me, and my dad's my hero, and my mom's my hero. You're going to make me cry again here, dude. My dad's side is, life is hard, so you have to work really freaking hard. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like, it doesn't matter. My dad's a garbage man. I say that with a lot of pride. He is literally the guy that drives the garbage trucks, and he's done that for my entire life, and he's one of the smartest people I know. So on one side, it's work really hard, because at the end of the day, I mean, that's just what life is. But then on my mom's side, it's really being compassionate towards other people, having charisma. You guys are younger, having riz, having energy, yeah, you guys are laughing, I know. I'm a funny guy. I feel like half this thing has been a comedy show. So yes, we're concluding with riz. Having some, if you speak Spanish, having some ánimo. Ánimo is a word that means charisma, that means morale. Like, yes, work hard, but like have gusto, have joy in it. And I think ultimately this is what I'll conclude with. Together, my parents taught me what Jesus ultimately teaches us, and it's this. It's that you are the salt of the world. You are the light of the world, right? Everybody goes through life just kind of mundane, kind of like zombies. I'm a student, I'm a worker, but it's cool. Like you have a guy in front of you, and again, this is all from God, from Jesus. It's like, this is awesome to be able to talk about this stuff. It's awesome for me to be able to go to work. It's awesome to be the person that brings positivity and Christianity into the workplace. Like, and that's ultimately what they taught me, which is one of my favorite biblical verses is, you are the light of the world, you are the salt of the world. And with that being said, hopefully you see that from me, and it's your turn to go be that out here in Andrews and beyond. So thank you for having me. Round of applause. Good.